Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Driven Shot podcast. I will be your host, Peter Muneme, also known as Barça DNA on Twitter, and I'll be covering the match review between Barça Femení and Chelsea. Let's get to it. Alright, so we begin with the first half, and the setting for this game being that it was in the Champions League semi-finals. Barca had won the previous leg 4-1 at home and traveled to Stamford Bridge with the objective of booking their place to Lisbon for the Champions League final. Chelsea had all the pressure on them to make the impossible comeback in this game, and so they began with a very aggressive style. They pressed high, they tried to force Barcelona into mistakes, they tried there to pinch the ball high up the pitch and then use that momentum to create chances. And to their credit, they began the game very, very well. I thought one of Chelsea's better players was Baltimore over both legs. Of course, she scored in the previous fixture, but she was generally very good in this game, occupying the wider zones. She also moved at times into more central areas there and was helping Chelsea a lot when it came to their pressing and maneuvering of the ball. She was also very good there when it came to dribbling, 1v1s. Cuthbert as well stepped up, and Chelsea, for the most part, played a very brave game. But just when Barca were under pressure, there were a few mistakes there at the back. Aitana and Alexia getting into a mix-up and a chance that was presented for Chelsea. Kata made a big save, and it was a moment where Chelsea, in the opening 20 or so minutes, were piling on pressure onto Barcelona, and it felt as if a goal for Chelsea was coming. The first goal in this game was always going to be very, very key, especially for the momentum of the game. Barca, of course, being up 4-1, knew that if they scored first, it was likely going to be tied over. But Chelsea also knew that if they could score first, things could change, they could put on some pressure, the game could swing back and forth, and perhaps they could dream of making that comeback. But those dreams were crushed by Aitana Bonmati when she picked up the ball in her own half, drove forward, a powerful run in the 26th minute, went through several players there, hurdled a brilliant challenge made by a Chelsea player, last-ditch tackle that she skipped over, got herself into the box, and what a finish it was. I mean, this strike was absolutely terrific. She nailed it right into the roof of the net there, surprised the goalkeeper, caught her completely off guard, and scored a tremendous goal. And from that point, as soon as Barca had the first goal, the game was done. Chelsea couldn't really find their feet in the game. They became a bit unsettled. I think the fans as well, the squad, they just seemed to lose all their belief there. As soon as Aitana scored that goal, it came at a very good time because Chelsea, up until that point, had a very good spell in the game. There was lots of pressure on Barcelona. There were some questions about whether or not this team could see it out. But when that goal went in from Aitana Bonmati, Barca gained their confidence, they gained their composure, they gained a foothold there in the game. They circulated the ball well, they kept possession, and Chelsea from that point really had no answer. Soon after, the second goal followed. It was wonderful play there from Graham Hansen, 1v1. We know that she's the best in the world when it comes to those positions there out wide. She receives the ball. She beats her opponent, plays a lovely ball across the face of goal, and Paor, as always, is there to score. And how impressive has she been this season, Paor? Her first season there playing for Barcelona, and she's been a massive factor, playing as the number 9, really showing her class today. She was brilliant, not only in her goal, but in her running. She served as Barca's outlet on a consistent basis there, making runs in behind, really stretching the Chelsea backline there whenever they tried to come forward. They left gaps in behind that she exploited, and of course, she got herself on the score sheet, took her goal so well. Barca at that point 2-0 and cruising, and then step up, arguably the Champions League player of the season, Claudia Pina. What a goal for Barca's third. I mean, this was an absolute work of art. It was genius, it was breathtaking, it was beautiful. I mean, the goal from Aitana Bonmati to open the scoring was special, and for me that was the goal of the game because of what it meant, because of the pressure that was on Barcelona. But this goal from Claudia Pina was just special. If you saw the game between Barca and Real Madrid, you saw the goals scored by both Pedri and Koundé and how good those two goals were. These two goals today were just as good, but this one from Pina was an absolute beauty here. She receives the ball from Alexia right outside the box, shifts onto her right foot, and she had a massive chance to start today, Pina, of course, coming off the bench and scoring a brace against Chelsea in the first leg. This time, she gets her chance to start, and what a strike that was. Absolutely beautiful, clean hit right through the ball. Goalkeeper Hampton doesn't even sniff it. By the time she looks, the ball's already hit off the post and gone in. A beautiful, beautiful goal. Emphatic scoreline. Barca up 3-0. Chelsea completely lost at that point. We go into halftime, and Barcelona were just really 45 minutes away from reaching the final. Chelsea, of course, then second half, they did make changes. They did play a more positive game, of course. At that point, they were just playing for pride. The game was well and truly beyond them. Barcelona, I thought, for the most part, managed those second 45 minutes very, very well. I think perhaps they could have scored more goals than they did, of course. Paduello scoring towards the very end of the game there. But Barca, for the most part, in that second half, they managed the game well. They did create a few chances too. There was a chance for Rodolfo early in the second half. There were moments there for Salma to potentially score as well. She was denied. There were chances there for Vicky as well. She had a brilliant effort, lovely skill that she pulled off to get herself into a shooting position. Unfortunately for her, had her shot cleared off the line as well. But Chelsea, I thought, in the second half were, I want to say, improved. Of course, there was not much to play for at that point. The game was very much and truly beyond them, but they did, raise their level. They did try and compete with Barca there, but to be honest, Barcelona over 2 legs were superior. I mean, they completely dominated possession in this fixture, especially to do that at Stamford Bridge is very, very impressive. But they were composed. I think physically as well, they were stronger than Chelsea. Chelsea didn't win a lot of their duels against Barcelona over the 2 legs, especially in this encounter. And credit to Pere Romeo and credit to these players. They did not take this tie for granted. They knew that the job still had to be done, and they played like it. They marshaled the game well. They picked their moments. They also controlled the game when they had to. They attacked when space was available. And for the most part, this game was won in the first leg, but it was masterfully played out in the second. Barca showed a tremendous degree of maturity. They played with composure. They played with a mindset of looking to the final. Of course, if there are some concerns for this Barca team, obviously there will be some concern over the fitness there of Mapi Leon. Of course, she played from the start in this match. I do wonder if Pere Romeo slightly will regret that decision because she did have to come off at halftime. She was nursing an injury in the first leg, and so we'll see how she recovers for the next few matches. There were also some injury scares for Graham Hansen. She did have to come off after suffering a hard challenge there. It seemed more of an impact injury than something serious, so we'll see how she recovers in the next few weeks. But Barcelona comfortably through into the Champions League final. It'll be a massive occasion, and just like last night with the men's team, Barça Femení as well tonight will get to celebrate. They've taken a massive step forward this season. They've of course got the league to come. They're a point ahead of Real Madrid with a game in hand, and so they'll be looking forward to winning that game and putting more distance between themselves and their greatest rivals. But as for the Champions League, Barça Femení will await the winner of either Lyon or Arsenal. Lyon, of course, being one of the most dominant sides in this competition over recent years. They've met Barca in many finals before, and Lyon right now up 2-1 against Arsenal. That match will be played later on tonight for a place in the final to face FC Barcelona. Barcelona very much on for the quadruple, just like the men as well. And for a game like this, I think Pere in his first season, he'll be very proud of his players. He'll be very proud of his staff for helping him reach this point. It was a very, very good game, played in the right spirit. And for Barcelona, this was exactly what they wanted. Credit there to the players, credit to the fans who supported the team. They really made their voices heard. They really made themselves present there in every moment of the season, in every moment there of the Champions League. And we'll see what's to come next. For the likes of Aitana Bonmatí, tonight was another iconic night for her. Wearing the Barcelona crest, loving the badge, playing with her heart on her sleeve. The goal she scores tonight crowns her as a queen. Absolutely brilliant. You saw it again as well from Claudia Pina. Her performance was special. Alexia Putellas as well had a phenomenal game. Pathety as well. Really from the whole Barca squad, they did themselves proud tonight. Played very well, saw out the game, and now they've got themselves into another Champions League final. Can this team do it again? Can their dominance continue to reign? Who will stop them? That's up to Lyon and Arsenal to find out. We'll see who gets to the final, who will face them. But that'll be it for this game. Barcelona, Barça Femení 4, Chelsea 1, 8 2 on aggregate, Barcelona are in to the Champions League final yet again. Visca Barça!